public hearing and regular board meeting. We would like to now call this meeting to order. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and Commissioner Walker, if you would, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Thank you so much, Commissioner Walker. But before we begin, I need a motion to allow Commissioners Peter, and I'm not sure if Commissioner Latvala joined us, to participate via Zoom. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Welcome, Commissioner Peters and Commissioner Latvala. Now we will have our public hearing for the final fiscal year 26 millage rate and budget. So I'm now going to do an introduction for the public purpose of the public hearing, which is to receive public input and allow the public to ask questions concerning the authority's proposed millage rate and proposed operating and capital budgets for fiscal year 2026. Tonight, we will consider the final millage rate and final 2026 PSTA fiscal year 2026 budget. Copies of our proposed budget are available if you have not already obtained one. The proposed fiscal year 2026 operating budget is $124,011,565, and the capital budget is $68,604,303. To fund the PSTA operating budget, PSTA's final millage rate for fiscal year 2006 is proposed to be .7300. The fiscal year 2026 rollback rate is .7023. The proposed final 2026 millage rate is 3.94% above the rollback rate. PSTA's millage rate cap is .7500. So now we will have our staff statement for the record. Brad?
Evening. This public hearing has been scheduled so that the general public may be given the opportunity to comment on the proposed millage rate and budget for fiscal year 2026. A paid advertisement concerning the public hearing appeared in the Tampa Bay Times on August 24th. Notices were posted at the Park Street Terminal in Clearwater, Grand Central Station, Williams Park in St. Petersburg, and Pinellas Park Trans Center in Pinellas Park, PSA Administrative Headquarters, and on all PSTA buses, on the PSTA website, also on August 24th. Announcements were posted on social media on August 25th and September 10th. To date, staff has received 60 comments from the public. The list of comments is included in your packet.
Thank you for that. Now we will have a staff presentation. Debbie Leos, our PSTA's Chief Financial Officer, will give a brief presentation summarizing the budget. Good evening, Debbie.
Well, good evening,
How
Chair
are
and
you?
everyone. And tonight is our second and final hearing on the proposed 2026 millage rate as well as the 2026 operating and capital budgets. You know, at the first public hearing, we had a lot of people come in, and what I loved about what they had to say is what we already know, and that is public transit means a lot to this community. So tonight, we've got two resolutions we're going to be voting on tonight, and we voted on these as tentative at the first public hearing, and it was approved by a majority vote of the board. Now, in this year, PSTA, for the second year in the row, is going to be lowering the millage rate. And I believe we are the only public transit agency in the state of Florida to lower the millage rate while not cutting service and while not raising fares. So I think that's pretty incredible. And while we are not necessarily at the rolled back rate yet, we're getting closer and closer every year to that. And yet we are doing quite a bit. So our proposed millage rate is the .7300. So we have a $124 million operating budget. And this is slightly over, less than half of 1% over the adopted budget for this year. Now, one thing I want to point out is the budget book that you have in your packets tonight has a little bit of a change because the board has really focused on not only cutting costs, but taking a look at how we can increase and diversify our revenues. What we did in the proposed budget that you have in there is we combined the fares and what we call fare equivalents. So there's a lot of UPass programs, there's state programs that actually pay for passes. All of that has been combined to something called fare and fare equivalents. So that's pretty exciting, and I invite you to take a look at it, as I know Commissioner Hazelton always takes a good look at our book, so I appreciate that. So we are actually balanced this year with a slight surplus of $162,520. Now, the budget includes a lot of really great things in it. We're not only the reduction of the millage rate, but we're moving forward on the 34 LX, or the South Street Spark service. We've got our community-connected bus network, where we're concentrating on the high ridership routes, and it is cost neutral. I'm very happy to say, Commissioner Scott, we've implemented the AI for the mobility services, reservations, and it is working extremely successful. The first day or so, it took over 50% of the calls with very little issue at all. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Now, the other thing on here you're going to be hearing more about tonight is the Cross Bay Ferry Service. So you're going to hear from our highly motivated procurement director on the success of the procurement, and you're going to be hearing from Darden Rice on how we're coming along with our funding partners that are very excited, not only in Tampa, but of course here in St. Petersburg. Now, the capital budget of $68.6 million includes the Clearwater Station. That has been a long time in the coming, both in the design and getting the funding together. So we're excited for that construction to get started and be hopefully substantially complete by the end of next year. So we're very proud of what we're doing here, not only from this project, but also projects that will impact the community through things like our SMART grant that'll make it easier for our riders to be able to enroll in our programs here, a lot of technology projects, as well as the ferry vessels that we will be procuring with a grant that Hart had transferred over to us. So with that, I will turn it back over to the chair, and we have 2 resolutions that will need to be voted on and adopted tonight.
Okay, thank you so much
You're
for that,
welcome.
Debbie. Thank you. So now we will move to our public comments on the millage rate. Now it's time for public comment, and please fill out a yellow public hearing card and get it to staff at the front table. Do we have any cards? Okay, speakers will be recognized in the order in which cards are received. So is there anyone that would like to complete a card? Okay, seeing none, we will go ahead and open up for board discussion. Are there any questions or comments from the board on the millage rate or budget? Okay. All right, Commissioner Hazelton, I cannot see this.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hazelton.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to just, I think that we're doing so many good things. However, I can't be excited about having another $3 million tax increase, even though the millage has been raised, rolled back slightly. It still generates another $3 million. And I went back and looked at the budget. This is in the PSTA budget, and this is a graph of the millage over the last 10 years. It's back in the back, towards the back of the book. And I think it's very graphic, because it shows us that in 2015, the ad valorem was about $38 million. And because of our good fortune of having our property values raised the way they have in Florida, it has increased, our properties have basically tripled, and so has the ad valorem, which is why they're talking about this so much at the legislature. In fact, they've had meetings for 2 days up there. And this budget this year is, I think, $86 million. So we're going from 38 million to 86 million. And so I just wanted to, I saw this graph and I thought it was very graphic. And I think picture's worth 1,000 words. So I really appreciate all the work that everyone does, but I just wanted to bring that up, so thank you for that time.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner McKean.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I wanted to explain why I'm going to support the resolutions tonight, and a lot of it has to do with my agreement with the messaging that we received in a lot of the public comments, which was public transportation is an investment. I don't see this as a sunk cost, and I think my own personal experience explains that as well. So I'll tell you my current situation. My wife and I, when we were looking for a house, we intentionally bought a place that was well-served by public transit so that we could get by with just having one car instead of two cars, which we do. And by the way, neither one of us works from home. We both work outside of the home. But because we're able to get by with just the one car, that gives us a lot of benefits. And I'll talk about these in kind of maybe primary and secondary benefits. Primary is we save a ton of money on transportation expenses. Average cost of car ownership is $10,000 or $12,000 per year. So instead of that money that we would be spending on a second car going to Geico or Toyota or Exxon, it's staying right here in Pinellas County. And not only that, this is one less car on the road, so less congestion, less road maintenance expenses, less pollution, fewer crashes, that kind of thing. So those are probably the primary benefits. But then under secondary benefits, with that money that we're saving on transportation expenses, we're building a rental unit in our backyard. So that's going to be extra housing for a teacher or a nurse or a service industry worker, which we desperately need in this county. So I think that there are a lot of benefits, and to just focus on cold math doesn't do justice to the value that rich public transit brings to our community. So that's why I'm going to be supporting these. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Seeing no further requests to speak, do I have a motion to adopt the final millage rate, to set the final millage rate for fiscal year 2026 to .7300? So moved. Is there a second? Who was the second? Patty, Commissioner Reed. Jennifer, can you please read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution 25-06, a resolution of the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority fixing the final millage rate to be levied for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, and providing for an effective date. That was Resolution 25-06, read by title only.
Thank you. Can you please open the voting system?
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes as well.
Okay, has everyone voted? Okay, so the motion passes 10-2. Thank you. So now we will have public comment. What happened?
Do we have 13 or?
12?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So now it's time for public comment on the final fiscal year PSTA budget. Please fill out a blue card and get it to the staff sitting at the front table. Speakers will be recognized in the order in which the cards are received, and we do have one card, and please forgive me if I mispronounce this, Callisto LaCourte? LaCourte? Okay, thank you. Welcome, Ms. LaCourte.
I might have filled out the wrong card, but I did want to address something Ms. Barber was saying. One thing I was talking about with some people that I like in regards to this is one thing that's really important to know is that part of your property tax also subsidizes private vehicles. So regardless of where that tax money is going, I would rather it go to public transportation than private vehicles. And the better funded public transportation is, the less private vehicles you have to pay for, which is just ultimately a better thing. And I guess my main reason for coming here today is because I was a little concerned about some of the changes that are coming in October, which I know we can't change now, but I was mostly concerned because the two buses I mainly take are the 18 and 59, and I know that they're the most frequent and like most heavily populated. I see people do it every single day when I go to work. And my main concern is that now that a lot of those times are reducing from 15 minutes all the way up to 30 minutes, that they're going to become less reliable and less people are going to want to take the bus. And that's going to severely impact the budgets and how it's going to like help us like actually fund these and make sure our drivers are well paid. And that's just kind of,
All right.
that's your job. That's just kind of my concern, is people are going to see it as less reliable, so they're going to take it less, which is the main obstacle a lot of public transportation faces. Because if you don't have the ridership, then you're not going to have the funding for it, and if you don't have the funding for it, then it's going to get reduced. Less people are going to want to take it, so the ridership goes down. It's just this vicious cycle, and I'm worried about that because it's something I rely on, and if the buses become less reliable, I worry I'm going to have to start spending money on Ubers every day, and those can be like $20, $30 instead of the max $5 I have to spend on the bus every day.
Yeah.
I yield my time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
I think our planning manager is back there, ma'am, Devin's there. Can talk to you about the 59. I don't know if that's actually being cut.
Okay, we good? All right, thank you. So now we're going to move to adopt our fiscal year 2026 budget resolution. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Jennifer, can you please read the resolution by title only, please?
Yes. Resolution 25-07, a resolution of the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority adopting the final budget for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, for carrying on the duties and obligations of the authority, providing for distribution of this resolution to the county and state, and providing for an effective date. That was Resolution 25-07, read by title only.
Thank you. Can you please open the machine for voting?
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Okay, the motion passes 10-2. Thank you, Commissioners. So now this concludes our public hearing, and now we will begin our regular monthly board meeting. So now we're going to move into the public comment section, and this is where we comment on our consent agenda items or items not on the agenda. Please fill out a green card and get it to the staff sitting at the front table. Speakers will be recognized in the order in which cards are received. And we do have 2 cards. Any members of the public who are here that wish to speak, you must state your name and your address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes. And the first card we have is, okay, I'm trying to read, Gerald Dias. Say it again.
Gerald Dykes.
Dykes, welcome, Mr. Dykes.
Thank you. My name's Gerald Dykes. My address is 1001 Echo Mountain Drive, Riverview, Florida. I live over by the port where the ferry is going to be over in Hillsborough County, and I'd like to talk about the ferries and what you're going to do with them. I'm a long-term boat person who has designed and built boats in Florida for 50-plus years. We really need a good water transport between Tampa and St. Pete and southern Hillsborough County also. Plus, the military needs it to get from there to the base without driving all the way around. The way you're doing it with the 2 big boats, I don't see as that viable because they're large, they're more costly, and they can't go often enough, and they can't go 24/7. There's another class of boats called the 49-passenger class. You could probably buy 5 or 6 of those. They have much more fitting to what your passenger load's going to be. You can run them more often. You could run one 24 hours a day and have a real transportation system people can depend on, not tourist hours, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm talking about a real transport system. And if you do that, also when you make the bid your boat and your drivetrain, which should be electric, and that separately. And that the reason why you should go electric is because it costs like 10% of the maintenance of a diesel engine. The fuel is near free. If you put up a solar system over on Port Redfin, you pretty much no cost on fuel. You put an option for 5 more. A similar boat could also do the Clearwater Ferry and that. So now you have boats that you can get quantity pricing on. And that, I tried to get pricing, but since I wasn't actually in the business, or buying it, I couldn't get anything from them. But I do, like I say, I've been building fast catamarans all my life. And I got a 25-mile-an-hour cruising sailboat under sail or power. So, but that's what we really need, is a good transportation system that goes 24/7, 365. And that's the way you get people to use it often, regularly, and get people off the road, especially that damn ride from Ruskin all the way around here to here. It's just not good. I mean, 25 minutes, you're there, and that with the ferry. And that's pretty much it. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
You have a great evening. Thank you. Our next speaker is Ms. April Murphy.
Hi, we just want to talk a little bit about the open carry that's starting Friday. I'm fine with open carry, I'm fine with concealed, I don't have a problem with that, I do it too. But on the buses, if the passengers are allowed to open carry, we feel that we should be able as well. To me, it's like a MMA fighter going into a ring with one of us, we're going to get killed. So there's some options. If PSC wants to allow that, and we're fine with that, we'd like to reopen the contract, because I guess what I'm asking for, isn't it PSC's rule whether or not we can carry? I believe that's a company rule. So we're asking you to, rethink that one. If this open carry, if the passengers can carry on, then we automatically need bulletproof enclosures. And then I have one real important reason why we shouldn't be open carry on our buses. Isn't it against the law to be on school buses, guns to be on school buses? And it's against the law to be in the schools too, right? Well, right now, we're partnering with Pinellas County Schools, hauling the kids to and from schools. So we should be grandfathered right into that, because we are taking Pinellas County school kids to and from school. In fact, I believe you guys are getting paid for it, so it's a real job, so to speak. So that's something I think we need to look at really well. To me, that's an automatic no. We should be able to stop the open carries. And, most of our passengers will probably be all right, but you all know we don't have all stable passengers. And that's what our drivers are scared about, and you see somebody walk with a gun sitting behind me, there's no way I can focus on the road. There's no way I would drive the bus. I'm glad I don't drive anymore. It wouldn't happen. But those are our issues. The main reason I think we should ban it is because of the school kids. Like I said, I think that's a no-brainer. If the Pinellas County schools don't allow it, I don't know how we can, because we haul the kids to school, because you're short on buses. So either maybe we can't have these kids riding our bus anymore if we're going to allow open carry. So, I know, go ahead.
I'm Kevin Sablon. I'm the chapter chair here at PSTA. Not to repeat what April was just saying, but my main concern is for the safety of our drivers and our passengers. And I agree. I mean, we're sitting ducks on there, and we're not even able to defend ourselves if we don't revisit this policy as far as the employees being able to have a concealed weapon on the bus as well. I mean, that's the thing. If somebody, pulls out a gun, we're just sitting ducks in there. There's nothing we can really do about it. I know some of the other agencies are looking at getting bulletproof enclosures, but I don't even know if you guys are looking to spend that kind of money. I can't even imagine what the cost would be on that at the moment. especially after just redoing the budget and everything. So I don't see that even being in the cards.
And I really don't want to have shootouts, good
Correct.
versus the bad. I'd rather see if we can somehow find a loophole because of the school kids we haul. I think that's our best avenue to ban it, if you guys would at least consider it and think about it.
Well, yeah, our understanding is that the private businesses are able to ban them from their premises. So we're basically asking for the same thing here at PSTA.
That's it. Any questions? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you, April and Kevin and the employees of PSTA. And please know, as chair, I am going to speak for myself that I truly do understand your concerns. And I think I can speak for the commissioners that we do hear you and that we have some of the same questions and concerns because our mission too is to protect our riders and our staff. I personally hosted yesterday a open carry conversation, and I must say that following that conversation with our local law enforcement, I felt better, being educated as to the do's and the don'ts and the exclusions in regards to the open carry law that will go into a full effect tomorrow. So I did feel better about that, and I did have a conversation with Brad this evening, hoping that we would be able to provide similar education and mental health counseling, and that was a part of the panel last night for our employees, because to me that is valuable and it's required. On behalf of PSTA, that will be something that's going to happen, and according to Brad, that's going to be happening starting tomorrow. One of the things that I shared and I learned is that there are 38 states already with open carry laws. And from that, hopefully we can learn here in Florida what is working for those 38 states, how we can ensure your safety. So again, I am a huge SEIU fan, and I'm going to advocate for your safety as well. Thank you, Brad and James, for supporting our employees. And I see Mr. Bradford standing. Would you like to have anything to say to address?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to our board members. So I want to thank Kevin and April, our union leaders, for coming out. They always do a really good job of representing their members, of nearly 500 plus strong, so certainly can understand when you have changes, there's going to be concerns. And we have our men and women out here who carry the public to and from all over the county, have families to go home each night. So safety is our priority. We are going to follow and obey state law, of course, but I think conversation and education is the key to this transition here. I thank Madam Chair for your remarks, and yes, starting tomorrow at 4 a.m. for the next couple of days and through the weekend if necessary, we're going to want to partner with SEIU and meet with every single employee and public-facing employee that we have in person, not just rely on email, not just rely on my robo-text. I'm sending out a robo-call later tonight, but meet with them one-on-one. And I think some of the questions and concerns that Kevin and April raised, we want to capture those, have staff available to capture those directly tomorrow, be able to provide answers to some of the questions that they've asked tonight. But again, just also provide education on this new legislation. We've had concealed carry as it is, and this is just a change to that where things may be more visible. But I think we just have to keep having the conversation, keep having the education and the information on the facts of what's going to go on, and that's how we're going to best proceed. So again, I thank SEIU, Kevin, very well. I believe we have good dialogue, and that's going to be our plan. So bright and early, 4 a.m. tomorrow, we'll meet with each and every employee. We'll be out there at the bus terminals, and we'll continue on as long as it takes to see what issues may arise. Hopefully none. That's our plan. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much. And again, thank you, April and Kevin. Thank you so much. So now we're going to move to our consent agenda. Are there any items that a board member wishes to pull? Hearing none?
Second.
Okay. Can you please open the machine for voting?
I'm a yes.
Oh, well, let's go back. Okay, we're going to pull
Lavalla is a
4E.
yes.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the consent agenda after pulling 4E, and we had a motion and a second. Okay, can you please open the machine for voting?
I'm a yes, Madam Chair.
Latvala is a yes.
Okay, we're just waiting. We're waiting, yeah, we're ready to vote. That's okay. Now, this is consent agenda minus 4E.
They already
They-
said
They
yes.
said yes. Okay, motion passes 12-0. So now can we go to item 4E? Commissioner Walker?
Yeah, thank you. This is going to be very quick. I just want to thank PSTA for the coordination and facilitation and the forward thinking to make this a much more robust service. Speaking for the great city of Dunedin, I'm going to say that this has been long overdue. It's very welcome. We're expecting that we're going to see great impact to our downtown business, and equally as important is the community residents are going to have much easier access to Clearwater Beach and to the Sound and being able to do it on the water. So I just want to thank you, Brad and Debbie, and everybody who was involved with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See no further requests to speak. I will entertain a motion to accept 4E.
So moved.
Okay, hearing a motion and properly second, can you please vote the machine for voting?
And I'm a yes, Madam Chair.
I'm a yes.
Okay, 2 yeses. All right, motion passes 12-0. Thank you so much on that, Commissioner Walker. So now we're going to move into our committee updates. First, we're going to hear from the chair of our Transit Rider Advisory Committee, Ms. Gloria Lepic-Corrigan, who is joining virtually, about their recent meeting, followed by Commissioner Reed with the LCB report, and I will give the Ford Pinellas report. Ms. Gloria?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Barely.
There she is, yeah. Oh, it's quiet.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
better.
Okay, good, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Miller, Chair Fig Sanders, and esteemed board members. The TRAC met in person yesterday at PSTA's headquarters. And the first of our presentations was from Mr. Miller. He made a presentation to the committee on the new Snapper on-demand service, which will be serving parts of central Clearwater and Safety Harbor. And this really unique approach, this service will be replacing the former fixed route bus service in those areas, including routes 67 and 76. And I can say, as a regular user of 67, I know I was one who voiced a lot of concern. And I'm really very optimistic that this new program can address the needs of the riders who still want to and need to use bus service. So let's hope this is everything that it could be. Then Planning and Data Analyst Manager gave us a comprehensive presentation on PSTA's ridership trends over the past 40 years as part of PSTA's 40th anniversary this year. And it's a similar presentation to what was reported to the Finance and Planning Committees last month. And again, just fascinating information. It was for all of us, it was very educational in terms of what brings ridership up and down and so forth. Good information. And then the committee also agreed to replace one of our early initiatives. We had the initiative to do some cleanup in the bus areas and with some outside organizations. But what we're doing instead is we are going to be working as almost ambassadors for the upcoming Connected Community Bus Plan that will bring, again, big changes to the system starting in October. And so as riders, we talk with other riders. And so we're looking for programs in which we can help riders understand and buy into what's going on. And then finally, our next meeting will be held via Zoom on Tuesday, October 21st at 4 p.m. And as always, we welcome you to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Lepic-Corrigan. As always, your services are greatly appreciated. Thank you. So now we will have our Commissioner Reed.
The local coordinating board met on September the 23rd in downtown Clearwater. The members reviewed and approved the annual operating report, rate model, and amendments to the Transportation Disadvantage Service Plan. A presentation was given by Ford Pinellas' Robert Fiegel about road and sidewalk safety in Pinellas County. Members were recruited by the Community Transportation Coordinator Evaluation Subcommittee. PSTA's Jacob Labuca gave an amazing presentation about PSTA's Connected Community Bus Network Plan. This was followed by a demonstration of PSTA's AI Customer Service Agent, which Ross gave. It was amazing. And the next LCB meeting will take place on November the 18th at 9:15 a.m.
Okay, thank you so much. And now I will present the Ford Pinellas Board meeting that was held September 10th, 2025. And some of the official board actions were approval of the Transportation Improvement Program amendment and modification, recommended approval of amendments to the countywide plan, approval of the revised prioritization process, authorize a request for proposals for the Pinellas Planning Council State Government Relations Support, approval of the scope and fee for the economic impacts of transit investment analysis, approval of amendments to the Unified Planning Work Program, as well as approval of the scope and fee for the development of a regional benefit cost analysis tool. We had two presentations. One was the board received presentations on the multimodal impact fee ordinance update and the Federal Highway Administration 2025 certification report, as well as Dana Santos was presented with a staff service award. And lastly, the board welcomed Ryan Hutton to Ford Pinellas. And that concludes the Ford Pinellas report and our committee updates. Thank you, everyone. So now we're going to move into our information items, and the first one will be Al Burns, our highly motivated procurement director. He will give us an update on the Tampa Bay Ferry procurement. Hello, Mr. Al.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, board members. Good evening, board members. Al Burns, your highly motivated procurement director. Usually I'm here to present contracts to recommend approval, but today I'm complying with the board's direction and giving an informational update on the effort to restart the ferry, the Tampa Bay Ferry. Hopefully, I'll return next month with an action item to award this contract. But once again, as a reminder, this is just an informational item, and there is no action needed this evening. Just a little outline of what I'll be discussing this afternoon. I'm going to recap on how we got here and tell you on what I believe was a successful procurement effort. And then Darden Rice will follow up with outlining the next steps to secure the commitments from our funding partners for the operation from St. Petersburg and Tampa. Just a little bit of background. As you may remember this past spring, PSTA and HART worked hard to transfer the 2021 $4.8 million federal grant to purchase up to 2 ferry vessels to operate the service. I'm pleased to remind you that we have completed that effort successfully, with FTA giving us the final sign-off in July. You may recall Brad telling you back in May, it was hoped that if PSTA acquired the vessels for the contractor, that would lead to significantly lower operating costs to provide the service, because they would only have to provide the crews locally instead of the vessel cost and out-of-state crews. When it was operated in Hillsborough, the crews were housed in hotels and various things, and they weren't domiciled here. Board members, this is my favorite slide. Procurement completed. I'm very pleased to report on what I believe was a successful procurement. I want to especially thank a couple of people. I want to thank the contracting officer that isn't here tonight, and her name is Miss Edith Randall. I also want to thank a newest member of our staff, Miss Dana McDonald.
Welcome.
And she is going to be helping us with phase 1 of the procurement. And phase 1 is probably one of the most important parts, because that is purchasing the vessel. But we didn't do this in a vacuum. We had PSTA staff members, but we also had members from our funding partners. We had representatives from the city of St. Petersburg on the evaluation committee. We also had a representative from the city of Tampa on the evaluation committee. And I want to just thank them sincerely. And some of you, I know I'm looking at Commissioner McCain and Commissioner Hazelton, they were evaluation committee members, and they received 4 proposals. And you know how hard work that takes in order to evaluate those proposals. And I want to thank them again. One of the things that was a key success was, I feel, we received 4 proposals. In procurement, if you receive 2, and I'm looking at Commissioner Walker because he knows this, if you receive 2, that is considered competition. But we received 4, and that is an extraordinary amount. If you look at when the solicitation was released and when it closed, we received 4 well proposals. 3 of the 4 proposals were from local Tampa Bay companies. Tampa Bay Sea Taxi Incorporated, or Hubbard's, Gulf Coast Water Taxi, or Clearwater Ferry. And I want to just pause for a second and to thank Clearwater Ferry for submitting, as they are currently our partner right now. And then we received a very unique proposal from Red Hospitality and Leisure LLC. Red Hospitality's proposal was very, very good. And the thing that was unique is that they operate ferry services in the Caribbean and Hawaii. But now I want to talk about the person that hopefully next month I will be bringing. And we're going to recommend the vendor is Tampa Bay Sea Taxi Incorporated, and better known as Hubbard's to you. And I just have to say it, I hope Brad doesn't get mad at me, but I love the saying, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. And I just love that slogan. But once again, I talked about the evaluation committee, and after thorough review and deliberation from the evaluation committee, they unanimously recommended to bring this to award the contract that hopefully I'll be bringing to you next month. Hubbard's Marina, as you may know, has been doing business in the Tampa Bay area for a very long time. If you look at that picture on this slide, that picture was taken back in 1958. They're a generational Floridian company. They also have the infrastructure. They have a fabricating facility right here in Gulfport to support if the vessel needs maintenance or preventive maintenance. It's right there, here locally, that work can be done. Additionally, the Hubbards added the CEO of Metal Shark Boats Incorporated. That company has been in business for over 20 years, and they're a major manufacturer of ferry vessels, which can really assist them with acquiring the 2 vessels in Phase 1. Madam Chair, board members, I was shocked but pleasantly pleased when a member of the audience came in, and I just want to take the time to introduce Ms. Tara Hubbard to the board.
Welcome.
Procurement goals achieved. There's a couple of reasons where I believe that this procurement was successful. One of the things that PSTA does a great job at doing is managing contracted services. Mr. Bradford and his team, they manage various contracted services. Jolly Trolley, Clearwater Ferry, PSTA Access, our MOD. All that falls under Mr. Bradford's leadership, and they have the experience at managing contracted services. Additionally, with this solicitation, I think another win for the agency was we were able to address significant inefficiencies from the prior contract that we did with Cross Bay Ferry. One of those things was we increased competition with this solicitation. As I mentioned before, we had 4 proposals. Then I'm looking behind me, and I look at Debbie, and I look at Commissioner Hazelton and the board. And one of our goals was to reduce costs from the previous contract, and I believe we've achieved that. We're purchasing the ferry boats. We came in, or approximately half the cost of the previous service that was provided from Hillsborough to the Tampa Bay area. So I'm very ecstatic about that. Also, with this savings, this will make us more efficient, so the cost can continue to allow the service to be increased between Tampa and St. Pete by increasing ridership and over time, reducing the municipal subsidies. Also with this, we sincerely believe that we'll be able to receive federal funds, and those federal funds will be able to help us with the capital, on the capital portion of this, repairing of the boats. Also, if there's any dock repairs that need to be done, all this can be done with the federal dollars. The operations cannot be funded with the federal dollars, but the capital repairs and the capital maintenance and things of that nature can be done with federal dollars. So, Madam Chair, board members, that is the reason I believe that we have done our job and we've done it diligently. But there's another aspect of this, and that is the funding support. And I just want to tip my hat to Darden. Right here. Excuse me, I'm sorry. To Darden Rice, because the procurement process is a laborious process, but working to get the interlocal agreements across the finish line is also a task all by itself. So I'm going to turn this next slide, and you're all ready to go, and I'll turn it over to Darden.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Board of PSTA Commissioners. As you know, our team has been working diligently with the cities of Tampa and the cities of St. Petersburg, looking at you guys, to finalize the funding agreements to support this Tampa Bay Ferry operation. For clarification, the 5-year operating agreement that Al has been talking about refers to the contract details between PSTA and Hubbard's, and it would be Hubbard's Marina, on how to run the boat service. In parallel, we also are developing a 5-year interlocal agreement, and that is between PSTA and the cities of St. Petersburg and Tampa to outline their respective financial commitments on how they're supporting all operational costs associated with the ferry. This process can feel a little slow. There's a lot of back and forth, but that's all part of the process because it's crucial to ensure that all legal, financial, and policy details are thoroughly vetted. And that just makes sense. It makes sense for PSTA, for our municipal partners, for the operator, and importantly, for our taxpayers. This meticulous approach guarantees the long-term sustainability and success of this vital waterborne transit link in our regional transportation system. I'm pleased to report that significant progress has been made, and we are moving closer to a final agreement that will allow us to give council members on both sides of the bay 2 weeks to review the interlocal agreement before they will be asked to vote for approval on October 16th. And that means then, presumably when those pass, that means PSTA will attach the approved interlocal agreement to the contract that will be presented to you here at our next PSTA board meeting. It'll first be presented to the Finance Committee for review on October 22nd, and then to the full board for approval on October 29th. I really want to thank our partners at the City of St. Pete and the City of Tampa for working with us. Ultimately, we will be presenting you a contract I think you're really going to be proud of, and it will be a service that our citizens will be proud to take. So any comments or questions you have for me or Al? We're done with our presentation.
Thank you, Darden and Al. Commissioners have any questions? Yes, we have Commissioner Scherer.
The contract with the city of St. Petersburg. Is that contract going to have a required location for the ferry to operate from? Because I don't think it will be successful at the Coast Guard station. It needs to be downtown.
I completely agree. The interlocal agreement does leave some openness to both cities in the situation that there's a temporary Plan B location, whether it's Gasparilla in Tampa or something in St. Pete. But it is clear that the desired location would be the North Vinoy Basin. I want to be direct. The ILA is not going to say that location or nothing else, but it is going to stipulate the desired locations for it to be in a high-traffic area near downtown, well-lit, safe, near adequate public parking.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I see no further requests to speak. Thank you, Darden. Thank you, Al. Appreciate the
Thank you.
presentation. Thank you.
See you next month.
Thank you. So now we're going to go ahead and move into our reports and correspondence and future meeting dates. Brad, would you like to update us on the reports in our packet and upcoming meeting subjects?
Sure, thank you, Madam Chair. In your packet are the July ridership reports and statistics, and we are, ridership overall, we are 6 days from the end of the fiscal year, is on pace to finish the year a tiny bit higher than fiscal year 25. Earlier today, and I'll make sure it gets in your packet next month. Earlier today, Devin Deal, our planning and data manager, gave a interesting presentation. I thought that the Finance Committee thought was interesting, and I expect he will return and give it to the full board meeting in a month, or at least a month or two, after we implement our service redesign next month. What this presentation was about was it compared the cost per ride of each of the different kinds of services the PSTA operates. And it showed that the Sunrunner BRT is the lowest cost per ride of any service we offer, and the microtransit route in Safety Harbor, called the 814, is by far the highest cost per ride. Gloria, our track committee chair, talked about it earlier. It has very low ridership, and so the cost per ride is, even though the service is relatively low cost, it is a very high cost per ride. And so we are always looking to be more efficient at PSTA, and so we are redesigning that to hopefully be much more like the more successful grouper service, the airport shuttle. That's what Gloria was talking about. I gave a presentation to the Riders Committee about how the new system is going to work. We think it'll be easier and better, and that will bring that service more to be much more efficient. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. But I think that will be, I'm optimistic that that will make it much more efficient. And then I hope Devin will come back to the Finance Committee and to the board and present that information to you. Thank you very much, everyone, for completing my performance evaluation. That's always great. And the Executive Committee is going to be meeting in 2 weeks to review that and then come to your October meeting with a recommendation for compensation adjustment for me that would be equivalent to the non-union employees 3% that was just approved today within the PSTA budget, the same thing that everybody else gets. Still to be determined, Commissioner Walker, but we are going to have a ribbon cutting for the Dunedin Ferry. The Dunedin Ferry service is going to actually start for real on Thursday, October 9th, but the Dunedin Commission is not available that day, so the ribbon cutting is going to be on a day a little bit later. Confirmed.
Yeah, we have a meeting that's anticipated to be very lengthy on October 9th.
Okay.
But, I've heard some dates tossed around, but anyway, we are very much looking forward to that ribbon cutting.
Great. Second, later in the month on October 27th, you're all invited to a grand opening down at Eckerd College of our new Spark Premium service. It's going to go up and down 34th Street through the Skyway Marina District, which is the fastest growing area of perhaps all of Pinellas County, but certainly St. Petersburg. It's really booming. And then finally, as Debbie mentioned, an update on our AI reservation agent. Our call center had a new employee that joined last week, a robot that joined our team last week. In the first week, the AI voice handled 1,100 calls completely on its own, which I'm told is a sign of a star employee. Might be taking over all of our jobs sometime soon, but it's pretty exciting how that is working out. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, and I'm going to proudly say that the Spark is in District 5. It is St. Petersburg. Of course, I'm going to brag on that. We have Commissioner Scott that wishes to speak. Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Brad, just a quick question, just looking at the ridership report, that 100X is up 31% this month.
Yeah.
Is that an anomaly, or did we do something to change
No,
that, or what?
I noticed it's been growing for maybe about the last 6 months. And I'm not exactly sure why. But
I mean, good news, just curious
yeah, it
if
is
there's
good
anything
news.
okay.
Maybe excitement of the new airport director. I don't know. We had Dart and I met with him, and
It's got to be that.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Scott. Seeing no further requests to speak, we're going to move now into other business. Is there any other business anyone would like to discuss? Okay, moving right along, board member comments. Does any board members have any comments for today? I see Commissioner Albritton.
Yes, I just wanted to again say how much I like the grouper. I've used it a lot because I travel back and forth to North Carolina, and it's there early, it's there late, and I had a really good conversation with the drivers that it's almost like the trolley drivers. I mean, they're into what they're doing, and they're very friendly, and they have the bus all fixed up in a festive way. And he says that it seems like it's really taken off. So that's a really good thing. I'd like to see that happen. So just wanted to say that was a good thing.
And we are working on I talked to the folks at Spare about updating the app, so it says the word taxi instead of just sedan.
On the
Because your
thing?
experience
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the app is as easy to use as an Uber app. I mean, and you can, in fact, I'm taking it in the morning at about 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And, you can go ahead and call ahead and say, hey, pick me up, and they do a pretty good job. I'll let you know if they get there then, so.
Great. Good promotion also, I don't know if Gloria's still with us, for the new service to Safety Harbor. It's going to work just like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's convenient.
Yeah.
Thank you. Seeing no further requests to speak, before we adjourn, I would like to thank, who is not here today, but Commissioner Tim Reed for chairing the board meeting in my absence, and hopefully you all were nice. But I want to thank him so much for chairing for me in my absence. So if you see him before I do, make sure you tell him that I said thank you. And seeing no further requests to speak, our next meeting is October 29th at 9 a.m. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.